Hello again, and welcome back to another episode of the Final Flight podcast. We're here again, myself and Rich, for another Cheltenham Festival Countdown, episode 2. We've got another fantastic guest, Henry Brooke. Welcome back to the podcast, mate. How are you this evening?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, James, mate.
Good man, good mate. Thank you for coming on again. Obviously, it's great to have the guests on, and you come on last season's series and did brilliant. So thanks again for coming on. Joe is supposed to be joining us again tonight, but obviously he's having his own issues once again. But we'll see how it goes. Rich, we had a good weekend. You looking forward to talking about Cheltenham again?
Yeah, it was a good weekend, wasn't it? Some good horses on display, so let's get stuck in.
Yeah, there's plenty to review. Like I say, what we normally do with this show is we'll do a bit of a review of the weekend, a few of the key races and the key horses. Then we're going to talk to Henry about a few of his rides and a few horses he's sort of associated with, and a couple of horses to follow. And then the Ante-post picks. So we're going to get straight into it. If I can come to you first, Henry, there's only one place to start really, and that's John Bond's return. He obviously won pretty well, or shade cozy maybe, or was he all out? What were your thoughts on his return?
Yeah, look, it looked job done, didn't it? From watching it, I think they'll be all happy with that. Obviously, Hendo's horses are in good order now, so he'll be hoping for a clean run up into Cheltenham, and all been well, he will get it. And yeah, we'll see the real John Bond stride on at Cheltenham.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we talk about the champion chase, and it kind of, there's a few in there that are the El Fabiolos and Energumines, and obviously Gaelic Warriors at the sort of top of the market. Do you think he's got a chance of beating those come March?
Definitely, he's a horse that's just improving, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? I think he's not so most probably ability wise improving. I think the whole lead up to the actual race is improving. With the racing's done him the world of good. He's a lot more settled than he was. Like, he was a bit of a tearaway, wasn't he? And just had his own ideas in the prelims and that. But I think they've got that pretty sus now. He only does like a turn of the parade ring, doesn't he? And he's gone then. So they know what they do with him now. I think everybody's got to know what he's like and what they're like, and they've just met in the middle, and I think it's looking good.
Yeah, I think you're bang right there. I mean, I'll come to you, Rich. A few people were kind of crabbing him a little bit, sort of. I mean, you're talking, 15 wins out of 18, 7 grade ones. I mean, he's not a bad horse, is he?
No, I mean you can't knock him, can you? I mean, he's the best the UK's got at 2 miles. Whether or not that's going to be good enough to see what the Irish have got is another question. But yeah, I mean, he did what he had to do, didn't he? Just won. Maybe not as visually impressive as he won it last year, but I mean, he got the job done, didn't he? I know there's question marks saying, does he like Cheltenham? Does he not? I mean, his record speaks for himself. I mean, Cheltenham happens to be the track where I think his record is the worst, but you just can't knock him. He's a legend of the game.
I really like him. I think he's a great horse. If you were associated with him, you'd be well chuffed. So I think he deserves to take his chance to come March. He'll probably go. What was it? The Tingle Cricket, I think they said, or whichever race it is there, go for that. And yeah, a warm favourite, a 7-2 favourite currently for the champion chase. I think that's fair enough.
I just think they maybe should have chanced it last year. I think that was maybe his time. To be honest with you.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, a few people have said the Ryanair and things like that, but I think you look at the market, he deserves to be up there with the 2 milers. So I think they should definitely take the chance. Next one, then. I'll come back to you, Henry. Leo de Sud for the Skeletons, obviously a mega impressive winner here. What do you make of his sort of Arkle potential? I know sort of the UK, we always seem to get a decent looking Arkle horse, and they kind of just get trounced by the Irish. What do you make of this fella?
No, he looked really impressive, and honestly, he's improving for fences as well, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? So he looked really good. The Skeletons have had a great weekend. They seem to be absolutely flying at present, so they'd be wanting to keep that form that they're in now all the way to Cheltenham, I'm sure. But yeah, visually look very, very good.
Yeah, I'm in agreement there. I mean, Rich, like I said there, we always seem to get a decent looking Arkle horse sort of build up to it. I mean, he sort of ticks a lot of the boxes for an Arkle horse, doesn't he? I mean, he jumped so well and stormed up that hill. What do you make of it, mate?
Yeah, very impressive. I mean, he won it on the bridle, didn't he? There was nothing trouble on him. It was visually very impressive. I'm not 100% sure what he beat, but what he did beat, I mean, he beat it comfortably, didn't he, by 11 lengths. I think he's got a good chance in the Arkle if that's the target for him. They did it with Grey Dawn in the Turners last year, and potentially this could be the next Cheltenham winner for him.
Yeah, I think like Henry said there, that they are flying at the moment. They seem to be flying in the winners. I mean, I'll quickly mention that. Did you see that bumper winner, the one where Harry Sana just sat still the whole way across the line? I mean, that's brave.
no.
I mean, do you do that much, Henry, where you kind of don't move a muscle?
To be fair, I don't really get a chance to do it that much. Do you know what I mean? They all normally take a bit of pushing the horses that I ride, but yeah, he no, obviously that's turned the tables massively off its first run. That so improved massively for its first run, and it looked very very impressive.
Yeah, there's a lot sort of coming on for the run this season. I know the ground's kind of thrown some of it out the window, but yeah, it's going to be. I think there's going to be a lot coming to the boil in the next few weeks. Right then, Rich, I'm going to give you the floor for a few minutes for Potter's Charm. Obviously, we had Potter's Charm versus Valgrand, and me and Joe were on Valgrand, and you have absolutely obliterated us. Take it away, mate. Potter's Charm, what do you make of it?
I thought it was the best race.
Try not to smile too much, please.
I mean, he only beat Valgrand. Excuse me. Only beat him by 11 lengths. It was a close race. I just love this guy. I just think he's a proper galloper, proper stayer. I thought Valgrand was all about speed. And I'm sure we'll drop him back now after that. But Potter's Charm, you could not be impressed. I mean, he's unbeaten this season. 3 wins from 3, 2 at Cheltenham. I think he's got a proper chance for the UK in something like maybe the Bartlett or something like that. I just think the further this lad goes, the better. And maybe as soon as he sees the fence, I think we'll even see more improvement. So, yeah, he's one I'm very excited for.
That's fair play. Did you manage to catch it, Emery? I mean, we sort of bigged up Valgrand. I know he put you were in the race, obviously. What did you make of it from your perspective, being sort of behind them two?
Yeah, I thought he was very impressive. I think Potter's Charm. His jumping isn't brilliant. I don't think. I mean, well, it's not brilliant. He's just a bit slow. When I was sat upside him, and Harry was in front. Oh, yeah, he was following Harry. Sorry, and I was just following. I was following Harry, and he was sat like half a length to the side of him. And every time we landed, he was back. He was back with me. And then he had to squeeze him along again, and Harry was just like leaving him with his jumping, but. He's obviously a very talented horse. The only negative that I could see going through to Cheltenham with the horse is he gets very, very excited at the start, and he's a bit of a handful. And he was galloping around all over the shop, both times now at Cheltenham, and it's grand when there's only 4 runners. But you might just see him being a bit harder work in a 16 runner race at Cheltenham, where they're bustling around and that. So that'd be the only negative that I could see going forward. But he looks very good.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that then. If it was a little bit buzzy at the beginning, but like you said there, we kind of that was sort of only really negative we mentioned, the kind of jumping, a little bit of a slow jumping, and you've kind of confirmed that during the race. But like I say, he's won it well in the end. Maybe we'll see how much the form stacks up with Valgrand in the end. But yeah, no, definitely one to be excited about. Last couple then, obviously East India Doc won the Triumph Trial. He looked pretty impressive. What did you make of this one, Henry? I know, again, I talk about how the UK kind of get a decent horse for these races, and then the Irish just pummel us come March. But do you think East India Doc has got a chance in the Triumph off that?
Oh yeah, definitely. He looked very good. I think he's in a great stable. James Owen really knows what he's doing, and he's got a lot of great support from the owners of them horses, Waitley's. So not Waitley's. So they're fairly stacking in. They've broke a lot of good horses off the flat, and he seems to be doesn't missing any. James, he knows what he's doing. Obviously he won the Great Wood then. Totally different way of riding him. The horse settled in front. So yeah, it was. He's looking like he's a very up and coming trainer, and he's well and truly concreting his feet into the trainer's title.
Yeah, it's always good to see these other trainers getting well supported and coming out with some nice horses. I mean, Rich, obviously East India Doc, there's my noble lord in there for the Green on Guerrero. He was kind of well beaten, and this guy kind of tanked through it, didn't he? He looked impressive, didn't he?
I mean, very impressive. I mean, an 18th length winning, you cannot not be impressed. If you know what I mean? I mean, Connections won it last year with Burdett Road, and obviously he won the Great Rugby. How good he is. I saw something on Twitter that I don't know if this is true, but an interview with James Owen after the race, and apparently they've got one that might be slightly better at home, called Lavender Hill Mob. So that might be one to look out for. I mean, if this lad won by 18 lengths, well, no pressure on the other lad. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those. We saw it last year. Burdett Road hammered this field. Everyone was talking the triumph, but it just didn't happen for the UK in that race. And the Irish usually have something that's better than what we have. So time will tell.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll move on to obviously Burdett Road. He won the Great, but I think he was off 133. I mean, he obviously got the second behind Sergino. I mean, the form is probably pretty strong in the end now, and he's walloped him off the front. Well, not walloped him, but he's won well off the front. Cobbed him with another great ride. Henry, we were talking about Daisatinus, obviously all the rage before. What did you make of her and sort of Burdett Road and all the talking Champion Hurdle now, which I suppose you've got to take your chance, haven't you? You know, if the Constitution Hills of the world come back, it's going to be a tough order. But what did you make of sort of that situation?
Yeah, look, they're a totally different kind of horse, aren't they? When you look at it, I think Dinos is going to want a bit further in time. Looks like a bit more workman-like to Bernadette Road, who's kind of always travelling and like in your hands and jumps from hurdle to hurdle. He's a proper hurdler, whereas Dinos is going to be a chaser, I think, as well. You know, jumps a hurdle very well. So yeah, I wouldn't mind either of them at home, to be fair.
Yeah, I think when obviously Burdett Road had a spin on the flat, probably a little bit of fitness on their side.
Exactly.
Rich,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we were all over Dysart, but she just got she was a bit too much too soon, I think, didn't she?
Yeah, you know, I don't think a lot went wrong for her, to be honest. I was just, like you say, probably race fitness or just beaten by the better horse on the
She
day.
did get well supported late on, to be fair. She went off about 7-4 in the end.
Yeah, I mean, she was rated 131. It'd be interesting to see what the handicapper does with her and whether or not they decide to have another go in a handicap somewhere or go to mares races. But
probably leave her, to be fair, I think.
Yeah, like I say, I think she's going to come on for the run, isn't she, for sure. And I mean, what is the mares race? 2 miles 3, 2 miles 4 come March.
There's a 2 mile. There's a 2 mile free mares listed race at Doncaster. I bet she'll turn up there. I think it's like something of December. That's where she'll turn up, I'd say.
Yeah, something like that, I think.
Yeah.
Back against mares where she could maybe dominate that, I think, because she's obviously going to be a classy mare. You know, she beat Golden Ace in that entry bumper, and you know she's got it in her. I think just that long layoff off the track was just a little bit too much in the end, and I think a lot of us were a bit heart over head. But yeah, she run well for a return. You can't deny it, and there's some nice horses going forward. Right then, so that's kind of the review. And what I'm going to do is now, Henry, if I can, I'm going to just sort of go through a few of your rides. You've had a few really nice horses come out so far this season. And I'm going to start with the dude that is Gamester's Guy. Obviously, you rode him on his hurdles debut. He come second, just. Thought you were a tad unlucky. What did you make of the ride, the run, the race, the whole sort of situation with Gamester's Guy? Do you like him?
Yeah, I was very happy with him. It's the first time I've ridden him this time, and he kind of never travelled for the first half of the race. They went really hard at Bangor. Jumped really well on a hole, like really good. Wing 2 out, and he landed up sides, and I was kind of just going through the motions a bit. And looking back, I should have kicked him on and got a length in between the horse and second, and would have made a mistake. I would have still been that length a bit nearer. But he's a young horse, and I didn't feel like at the time that, you know, I was beat or anything like that. But it turns out that you've kind of Bangor, you need to wing that last. You haven't got long at the back of it. And he just didn't. He had a kind of made a bit of a mess at 2 out, and then went down. And when I needed him to like just rub the last, he chipped in and jumped it really well, but just got a bit high and just lost his balance a bit. Like organisation at the back, just took him 3 or 4 strides to gather himself and run on. He looks like a clear winner waiting to happen. I think he'll come on for his run as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to sorting that out when I next get back on him.
Yeah, we're massive fans of Gamesters Guy. We're sort of following him the whole way. So we did think we were quite unlucky. I think, like you say there, if he gets that last win, he probably wins probably
The
quite close.
second horse is a hardened handicapper as well. You know, he's had 5 or 6 goes, so yeah, look, he's run well.
That's what I mean. He's a young horse. He's got plenty of learning to do, and we're definitely going to keep him on side. The next one then is one I'm going to try and pronounce a little bit right, but it's Copernic Dumazet. Now, obviously, you took a little bit of a tumble on this one when you were looking pretty well. I mean, are you all right after the fall?
Yeah,
Hopefully, you're
fine.
not too bad.
No, fine. He jumped phenomenal the whole way. Maybe just done a little bit much early.
Mm.
And when when a horse travels in your hands like that, you can do everything for them. You can either make them slow up and pop it, or you can make them go a bit longer and have a cut. And he was just kind of just the first jump that he's had to jump on his own. And I kind of just went with him, and he's had a go at it, but he's just never got his landing gear down and just sadly crumpled on landing. But he was fine for his run. He actually runs at Warwick and band all week, so Robbie Dunn's getting the ride on him. So hopefully he'll run well on that.
Oh, I didn't realise you were bad. I mean, it's saying that you didn't have some runs booked in. What was the ban for?
Stick.
All right, fair enough. Well, it's one of them. It's one of them in the heat of the moment. Sometimes it happens. Gentleman Bill then is one of my absolute faves again. You come third in him on his debut, and he's come second again. Obviously, a little bit fortunate with the fall in front. Sorry, that he won, and the one in
Yeah.
front kind of fell. But I mean, I'd love to know your feelings on Gentleman Bill and what sort of you go with him going forward, maybe up in trip and softer ground and stuff. But I'm a massive fan of him. I thought he showed a good attitude when to hold on to that win last time. I thought you were going to get done.
Yeah, no, he's grand. Look, we were lucky with the Hobbsy horse falling at the last. But sometimes that's racing. You get luck, swings both ways. He jumps very, very well. I think he's mostly a chaser in the making. I don't think you'll see the best of him until he jumps a fence. If anything, possibly, he's just a little bit of a weak finisher. Where I think jumping a fence will help that, just slow the whole race up a little bit. But I was very impressed with him, and yeah, I think he'll have a crack at a decent little handicap somewhere this season for sure. Whether he goes down that EBF route or the final at Sandown, I don't know what they'll do, but yeah, they're going to have a good fun run with him this year anyhow, for sure.
Yeah, I think I sort of put him in notes, kind of anything over hills is a bit of a bonus. I think that when you go chasing, like you say there, I think it'll sort him out just nicely. Well, next one then. I mean, one of the absolute favourites, Gaboriot's come third in the Sefton. I thought he'd run a great race. I thought he's one of them horses. I think a lot of people are really taking a shine to him again, especially online and stuff. So, just sort of what did you make of that? I mean, is it going to be the Beachy? You think he could handle it again and step
Yeah,
up into
he'll definitely go for the Beecher.
Mm.
He'll need to be in the weights for him to run. But yeah, I think it just never travelled early doors, which didn't help. But the only thing that was keeping him into it was his jumping. He jumped phenomenal. Look, the Pipey horse looks well treated on his farm, and yeah, it was a great run round, great jumping. The lightest I've done for a year, so it was
You
worth
enjoyed
doing.
that?
And yeah, it was worth doing anyhow. But yeah, I'd be very keen to have a go on the beach with him. I think he'd have a massive chance.
Yeah, I thought like you said there, maybe didn't travel too much early on, but I thought it warmed to the task as you went along. So fingers crossed he gets in the beach and you get to ride that and it'll be a good performance. The
Yeah,
last couple
definitely.
then, another, well, I keep saying our favourites, but we've kind of such a good attachment to these horses. But White Rhino made his chase debut over at Ayr, and this guy just looks an absolute tank over fences. I mean, you must enjoy riding him, surely.
Yeah, he's very, very good. He's a massive horse. He jumped really well. It was just a lot of it was just schooling. He can pop little tiny strides in. If anything, there wasn't just enough pace in the race, really. And I was just a bit worried they were going to turn it into a bit of a sprint, which they did. Which wouldn't have suited me totally with him. But like I said, he never missed a beat. And up the straight, again, we were first run over at fences, and we're up against a horse of Nick Alexander's that has actually got some really good form when you look through his form. And I was out jumping him the whole way up the straight, which I think is credit to Rhino, and for him to do that over 2.5 on decentish ground is something he should not be able to do. He's a proper little tank of a thing, and very much. He's definitely my main horse to ride this year for sure.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, like you say, you're going up in trip, it's just a proper staying chaser. These are the big horses that we really enjoy watching, and I'm sure you do enjoy riding. That sort of ride then that you've had lately is Carrie Kate, again another sort of one that's come second at Bangor. You probably look the winner for a little bit. I mean, suppose did she get a little bit tired later on, just kind of flicked over the last. What would you make of that one going forward?
I think it was terrible riding down to the last. Myself looking back at it, it took me a few days to get over it. I still mostly aren't, but I think we had the race won. And even though I wasn't coming down to the last on any stride, I should have kept the revs on. And I think she would have sorted it out herself. And I just eased off, and she just went to chip in, but just didn't have any momentum to leave it. And we ended up getting collared on the line. So, yeah, I was upset about that. That was, since I've come back, my worst bit of riding I've done. I'll most probably add to it at some point this season. But, yeah,
Hey, well, at
it
least you're being
was.
honest. Sometimes people don't say anything, but it's if you know something's gone wrong, sometimes it happens. It's sport at the end of the day. These things do happen. So there's just two over there now. Well, I've got two to mention. Then Rich is going to mention one more that are sort of going forward. One that we haven't seen yet is making headway. I mean, have you sort of seen him at home or anything like that? Do you think he's going to be out soon over fences potentially?
Yeah, I scored him the other week, and I think the boys are just waiting for a bit better ground and everything like that. So yeah, we're EB's another one to add to the list.
Yeah, I think there's a few waiting for the ground to change, to be fair. The last one then, you were due to ride a horse called Dazzle Like This the other day, but obviously she was pulled out because of the ground again. She's out tomorrow. I know obviously Robbie Dunn's going to have to be on her. What do you think of her chances first time out? Do you think she'll be revved up?
Yeah, look, I'm hoping Carlisle's going to be abandoned tomorrow for sure.
That's a fair point. I think it's on Frost Watch, to be fair.
Yeah, which I'm praying that it is, because they've got some nice little youngsters starting their careers there as well. So I would like that to be off and it all slot back to next week or something like that. But I schooled her the day before. I was meant to go to Sedgefield. Schooled really well. Sweet little mare. I think she was a certainty at Sedgefield, but when we'd ridden on it and the ground was just too quick, and we just didn't need to take a chance like that with her so early on in the season for that. So we gave it a miss. But she'll definitely have a bit of cutting it up at Carlisle tomorrow. Track should suit her. So it's a good ride for Robbie Dunn.
Yeah, well, let's hope it gets called off then. Rich, go on then, mate. You've got one more you'd like to mention going forward?
Yeah, just one that we've not seen yet. But when we was at the yard, Colin kind of dropped it as one of his horses to follow. Petherton Hills. I don't know if you've rid him yet or anything, but can you tell us anything about her or him?
Wouldn't have a clue. Never heard it. I will have heard of it, but I don't think I've sat on him yet. I could have done. When I go in school, it's literally like just one horse after another, after another, after another, after another, and we school them like they just come and like we'd school a whole lot or two lots, and there might be 25 horses in each one, so we're just literally getting on a load of them. So I could have schooled him, or could have not. I'm not sure. I definitely haven't worked him yet.
Provisionally entered for Catterick, I think, on the 22nd of Friday. So
Right.
potentially
Somebody must have had the pleasure of that one.
Somebody must have done it.
But we'll have to see if Colin's a good judge or not. Maybe Colin's done all the schooling and the working himself.
Maybe.
I'm going to say Colin's been riding him out.
Maybe.
His hat.
So we'll see.
Fantastic. You always pick a good one there, Rich, that nobody's ever heard of, but fair enough. We'll see him hopefully out soon. So the next section then, We normally ask the guest if we can, Henry, for 2 horses to follow for the season. It could be any that we've mentioned then, or someone that we haven't mentioned. Have you managed to think of 2 for us, or one?
What have we got? So there's a young horse there that I actually rode. What's his name? That horse of mine that used to have a green on. Used to have that broke. The little chestnut. I rode him at Bangor. Can't remember his name off the top of my head. He's by Free Eagles. I can't remember his name. You'll have to have a look, lads. I rode him at
You have to
Bangor.
do what we had Oshie Murphy on once, and he just told us the names via the breeding. He didn't actually say
Yeah,
the
well,
name
this
of
is
the
it.
horse.
So this is what he's by. He's by Free Eagles. Eagles Gold, maybe, is it?
I'll see.
He's
One
by
second.
Free Eagle. I rode him at Bangor, same day as Carrot Kate.
Eagles Gold, Free Eagle by
Eagles
Only
Gold.
Together.
That's him.
There we
So
go. We got it.
I broke him at my house 2 years ago for the lads, and I really like him. He's definitely going to be one to go handicapping with at some point. But I think he'll just improve. He's a very immature horse. I wouldn't know if he's going to be a world beater, but he'll win plenty of handicap hurdles. I was really impressed with his jumping. He hasn't jumped as well as that at home. Not as sloppy as such, but just youngster and just a baby. But he operated really well. And I was impressed with him actually. He rode like a good race, and even though he only finished 5th, he ran really well.
Mm. Well, we'll take that all day long. You got another one? Or?
Yep, there's a horse runs tomorrow. Again, can't remember his name. A bit of time or something is he called? He runs in a novice hurdle tomorrow. I actually worked him last week.
About damn time.
About damn time.
There we go.
And I was really impressed with him. He worked really well. He felt a really nice horse. So he's another youngster that we haven't seen anything of. And he's his first. I did actually say to Josh when I worked him the other day, I thought he'd mostly win a bumper, but he's going down the novice hurdle route, so he must be winning novice hurdle. It'd be nice to see Craig have a winner for them.
You can win it next week.
Well, that's what I'm hoping for, really. But
I mean, it's snowing already here. I mean, I'm not close to where it is, but we're going to get a lot of snow, I think. So they'll be on frost watch.
hopefully,
Fantastic. So there are 2 horses to follow. Thanks for them, Henry. The next section, then, sort of the last section, is where we're going to have an Ante-post selection each. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let Rich go first, and then I'll go, and then we'll do you, Henry, if we can. Obviously, I don't think Joe's going to manage to get on, which is unfortunate, but we'll stick his selection up at the end, and he'll have to put something on Twitter or something. But go on then, Rich. So obviously last week you put up Lossimal for the champion hurdle, which I think's an okay selection, I suppose. Who's your selection for episode 2? I'll stick the image up.
So I've gone for same connections. Another horse that I just like this laddie. I think he's quirky. Is Gaelic Warrior for Willie Mullins, the champion chase. I mean, like I say, he's a very quirky horse. I mean, he'll probably run in the King George and then drop back down to 2 miles for the champion chase, knowing Willie Mullins. But he won the Arkle last year. The Arkle winners have a great record in the champion chase. I mean, he's probably got John Bon to beat. I'm not convinced El Fabiolo will stay at 2 miles. I think he might go up to the Ryanair potentially. Then you've got Nergamine. How is he after his injury? We don't know. He's probably going to be ground dependent. He'll probably want a bog. I just think if this lad's on form, I just think he's great. He jumps well. I think he's got some engine on him. I mean, he's won at 2 miles, 2 miles 7, 2 miles 3, 5. I mean, Fatafal did beat him at Leopardstown, but obviously he wasn't right. And then he went and won the Arkle. So yeah, I just think if you look at the markets, there's not a lot in this in the champion chase, apart from maybe John Bon. But like you say, I'm not 100% convinced that Cheltenham is track. I'd rather back him at Aintree. So I'm going to chance Gaelic Warrior. I think about 4-1. I think he said, James.
No, it's fair enough. I mean, what do you make? I mean, obviously, we always ask the guests what they make of the selections, Henry. I mean, we spoke about John one earlier. Gaelic Warrior. What do you make of Gaelic Warrior? They're talking King George's, champion chases. I mean, it's crazy, really, isn't it?
I thought it was a weak enough race that he won at Cheltenham last year, the Arco, on form wise going into it. There was a lot that didn't, that never come through due to injuries or whatever. But he only had to do what he had to do, and they always worry about him jumping right-handed, don't they? But actually, that didn't seem to be a problem last year. He was as good as gold. So, yeah, he won very well, and he is a very, very, very good horse. Thing is, if you had him in a normal yard, he'd be like an absolute weapon. Do you know what I mean? But it's just because he's surrounded by that many good horses. Willie has. He's probably never right quite up on the top pecking order, but he's still an absolute machine.
Yeah, I mean, we do look forward to get it one. I mean, stepping up obviously into open company to go win these races straight away, you've got to be pretty special. So we'll see how he gets on. If he wins the King George and then a champion chase, that'd be pretty impressive if he managed to actually do that. But we'll see what they end up doing in the end. So my selection, and I went for Salvatore Monday last. To be fair, Rich, people are going to think you're just a Richie fan, and I'm the Donnelly's fan. But I'm going to take a punt on one that, I mean, a couple of people have already put him up in the last few weeks, but I would have put him up. I put both of these up last week if I could, but I obviously couldn't do. But I'm going to go for Dancing City in the Brown Advisory at Novices Chase, and he is around 12-1. I'm going for the Donnelly double, Salvatore Monday and Dancing City. I just really like this guy. I've got a little bit of an fixation on him, similar to Salvatore. I don't know. He's just one of them horses where I just think he just looks like a proper staying chaser that's going to be at the top level. It was only a 7-year. Well, he's a 7-year-old, but we're quite likely race dealing this season. A couple of issues, but it seems to have got that sorted now. You go back to the bumper form with Ballyburn and Slade Steel and all that, and he just seems to improve as the season's gone on. He was third in the Albert Bartlett. Probably one of them races. The front two kind of got off away on heavy ground. It is what it is. It was only really his one bad run, really. So then gone to Aintree and totally smashed the form and turned it around with Jukebox Man, beat him, going from losing 7 lengths to winning by 5 lengths. And I thought he just looked the complete sort of horse at that point. And then he's even gone to Punchestown then on even better ground and backed it up again there. And he's beat the likes of High Class Hero, Better Days Ahead, who come out, I think it was today, and won on Chase Derby. So there's some nice horses in there. And he's sort of beating them all. Just put that one little thing at Cheltenham, but I just thought it just didn't quite go right for him. But I'm more than willing to forgive him that. And he just looks like a type that's going to improve for fences. He just looks like he'll stay all day long. And I think it slows it down a little bit for him. Over fences, I think he'll be ideal. You kind of go through the market. You got obviously Malmesbury that Joe likes. Triumph horses coming into these sort of novice chases straight away. There's a few people that maybe don't know how they'll go on, but he might do all right. But again, he's not got that much experience. You got Ballyburn, who I don't really think will go away. They'll probably keep him for the Arkle. Probably if he even goes to Cheltenham, we'll see without the Turners there. Better Days Ahead obviously beat Slade Steel, so he's maybe one that could. But obviously Dancing City's already beat him. Slade Steele's known for this trip. Stellar Story, maybe. Jukebox Man mentioned maybe keeping him over hurdles because they're having issues with the ground. They're not getting him out early enough, so that's one of them. And you get down to like Shanna Bob and stuff like that. And I like Shanna Bob, but I think Dancing City is just better than him. So Brown Advisory and obviously Chase, 12-1 for me is a bit too big for him, and I'm going to stick with him. The Dancing City. What do you got, Henry? Any opinion on it? Or?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah, you do just worry about that Cheltenham farm, don't you? But like you say, you've got to kind of. It's one run. He's done a lot each side of that, so yeah, I wouldn't be too worried.
I can't wait for week 3 when you pick Gino, and then week 4 State Man for the Donnelly chase.
That's the last Donnelly horse I'm having for a while, I think. Gino's an interesting one, obviously going over fences in the Arkle. I mean, what do you make of it? Just a quick one on Gino, Henry. Obviously, the whole thing with Constitution Hill, Gino going chasing now. What do you think of that situation? Do you think he could do it, Gino? Oh, hang on. Sorry, we've got Joe. Hang on, just 1 minute. Oh my lordy lord!
The Enigma.
Hang on. Let's swap back to this. Good evening, Joe, mate. You've got 2 minutes to say hello. You muted. You muted, mate.
What?
Go on, mate. We can hear you now. Say hello.
Can you hear me? Hello? Hello, Henry. You good?
All right, Joe, mate. All right.
Yeah, the special guests arrived.
Well, tell you what then, Joe, seeing as you've just popped on now, mate, it's actually time for you to put your selection up. So you've timed that pretty perfectly. So you obviously put Milesborough up for the Browns. I say I've gone against you with Dancing City, mate. Who's your selection for episode 2? And we'll finish on Henry.
Well, obviously it's tough, isn't it? You don't want to go into the novices route, but I have gone for a prediction of a race I think she will still end up at. A race she won last year, and that is Lossiemouth for the Mares Hurdle at 7-2. I think the price is completely fair. I mean, you look at the season now. Obviously, the talk of the ground and stuff. You go from good ground, all of a sudden up north, you've got snow now. There's freezing temperatures around. You know, she hasn't got that many sort of races that she can dodge Stateman for in Ireland in the championship 2-mile races. I just think she is going to stay down the mares route. I can't see them wanting to clash at all, and I can't see her beating Stateman. And if she can't beat Stateman over in Ireland, is she really going to come over and challenge at Cheltenham when she can just, in my opinion, go and take the mares hurdle? I think 7-2 is a completely fair price. You know, you look at some of the markets and there's a lot of short prices in there now. You know, you see horses run at the weekend and they get slashed in, and it's a bit of overreaction, a bit of Twitter playing in there as well. I just think Lossiemouth, if she returns in a mares race, she's going to be cut probably to even money. I think she's an absolute steal at the price. If she turns up, she's going to be, well, she'll most likely be odds on, won't she? I think it's her race to lose if she turns up, and I can't see any other way.
That's fair. I mean, I'll come to you, Henry. So sort of the champion hurdle, Constitution Hill, Stateman. You've obviously got Lossiemouth and Brighter Days Ahead even been mentioned for it. What do you make of sort of that? Do you think Lossiemouth will actually end up in the champion hurdle, or do you think she should go mares? Is Rich right, or is Joe right?
I see, lads. It's impossible to tell, isn't it? We're only in December.
I still can't believe these two have gone down this route for this series. And it's just crazy. Go on.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. I'm just
We're
watching
supposed to
this.
be finding some sort of value in these.
I'm watching this ultimate. I'm watching
up.
this ultimate cowboy in the background. These lads are mad. I don't know how they do what they do, but yeah. Look, it's such a long time away. Like, look, there's a lot can happen. I wouldn't be betting anything myself. Ante-post. You just don't know what's happening. But Joe is right. He's got a point. Can't see Willie wanting to run. You know, he's wanting to spread it as best as he can. So I don't think he want to take Stateman on. It just all depends what Richie wants to do, I suppose.
Yeah,
he wants a champion hurdle.
You what, Rich?
He wants a champion hurdle.
Well, the Constitution Hill comes back. He's not getting one, is he? So you might as well pick the race up. That's the only thing. I think Constitution Hill is the one that's, if he comes back in fighting fifth and just walks over everything again, suddenly I think the whole thing changes and it maybe tips back towards the mares. But if you don't quite fire, you know, just take the chance. You know, we'll see. The old situation in Ireland with Willie having Stateman and all this, and will he have them against each other at some point, maybe just to test the water, but. You know, different owners and stuff. So Rich, you might just think, you know what, sod it, take the chance. You never be afraid of one horse. They always say, don't they? But we shall see. Either way, you might end up both with a loser. So it might not matter anyway. Go on then, Henry. Have you got an Ante-post selection for us then?
My Ante-post selection is Grey Dawning.
Ooh.
And just on what Skelton's horses are doing this year compared to what they did last year, and the way every horse seems to be coming out and improving, I think there's still improvement in that horse. So yeah, he would be at present watching what I've watched the last few big Saturdays. Grey Dawning would be something that I'd be trying to keep my eye on.
Fantastic. I mean, I think you are bang right there in terms of the Skeltons. I mean, the kind of, it's like they're making a bit of a move into having a lot more higher class horses with targets, and they're playing it out perfectly at the moment, and they're looking like they've got some really nice horses. So Grey Dawning, he'll be in the Betfair Water, the Betfair Chase this weekend. So we'll see how he gets on. We'll see how he gets on.
Yeah, so he could look
fantastic.
He could show that he's a Gold Cup. He could show that he's a Gold Cup horse this weekend. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, if he goes and wins the Betfair, you know, that puts him right up there.
He was
And you've got the likes of
unbelievable.
Factor. I mean, Factor Foul's not really shown anything yet. He's in a joint favourite, so it's one of those betting markets. You could probably get some juicy prices in the Gold Cup. To be fair,
Yeah.
a couple of these nice horses coming in.
The due some rain on Saturday as well, aren't they?
Yeah,
Yeah,
did you say the drip
yeah.
3 millimetres of rain or something on
There's a
Saturday?
bit
So
of
that could be my 5-1 week out the window.
It's been hammering down apparently today. Haydock holds the water, doesn't it? But I was there when he won last year at the meeting, and he was unbelievable. I mean, to be fair, he was against Gerard de Menil and horses like that who wanted further, but he was electric. So fingers crossed. Fingers crossed we end up seeing him. Bloody hell.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good race. Right, well, that's it then. So, I mean, thanks for finally joining us, Joe. At least we've got you in for a little bit. We'll try and sort you out in a couple of weeks' time. Henry, obviously, thank you for coming on and giving us your time as well. You're always good when you
Cheers,
come on. We
boys.
really do appreciate it, mate.
No problem whatsoever. Good luck.
You know, hope you have a nice week off, and hopefully, thingy gets cancelled tomorrow, and there'll be some
Yeah.
nice rides for you when you come
Pray
back.
for some snow.
Yeah, pray for some snow overnight. Fingers crossed, mate.
Super
Rich,
job.
again, it's obviously been good. Obviously, we're back in 2 weeks' time for episode 3. We've got another jockey booked already. We've also got a very special podcast coming next Monday with somebody coming on that you'll know, Henry. Josh Guerrero is going to be coming on.
He'll tell you all the names.
So he'll be able to tell us all the names of the horses you mentioned.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah, it should be fun to speak to Josh. So we're looking forward to that. So yeah, thanks for coming on. Thanks
Perfect.
everyone for listening. Like and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, we'll see you all in a week's time, or Thursday for the next preview, and then a week's time for the special. So yeah, cheers, Henry. Rich,
See you,
Joe.
boys.
See
Bye.
you next
Bye.
time. Thank you and
Yes,
goodbye.
thank you.